Let's take a look and see what's going on, Virgo. You've got some major arcana showing up. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. So almost half of your cards are major arcana. And Empress in reverse, this is really interesting next to the Death card. This may mean letting go of a woman from your past with the Death card here, an old relationship. But it also could be, Empress is a card of abundance and prosperity. This is a woman who embodies Empress energy. So she usually is pretty confident in her authority over herself. Everything she touches grows. And she is very fertile, very feminine, she's the card that embodies receiving. So is there some way in which you're not receiving, Virgo? It's calling that into question. Whenever a card shows up, its energy is present, but there may be fear, doubt, or resistance to accepting that. So is there any fear, doubt, or resistance about accepting something into receiving something? She's about love and beauty, so it may be related to those themes. And for some of you, this could be letting go of the old version of that story of that woman. This could be, death signifies an ending, and it represents a rose that bloomed at one time, but that has lost its life, and that you need to cut that cord or end that chapter, cut the rose in order to get the seeds for new life, like new flowers here. For some of you, I'm really getting that you need to let go of an old relationship or an old story of a relationship. Someone who may have looked a certain way on the surface, but it was like what you see is not what you get. It was that, what you thought was going to be prosperous and abundant and fulfilling. I'm even getting the sense some of this is like the mother, whether that's your own mother or the mother of your children or some sort of mother energy, really realizing that that's sort of old and gone, or that you need to acknowledge that that's in the past. And some of you, I'm getting the sense that you may be too concerned with what other people think. This is Hangman in reverse. In the upright position, this is actually the upright position for Hangman. He gets a new perspective on life, and he does a 180, and he gets enlightenment through just taking a time out. And I'm kind of almost getting that this may be part of this start and stop feeling of November, where you might just need to take a time out and to just pause on certain things, pause on going forward, like saying, how does this feel? Can I see this from a different angle? Is there a different perspective, a different way of looking at things that I need to adopt? Because he's very much at peace. And he's very much getting new enlightenment, new information from his change in perspective, from seeing things from a different angle, and like from literally hanging himself up and seeing things from a 180. He really gets a new perspective, literally, and new enlightenment, new information. He sees things in a different way. So that's showing up for you, but it's also in reverse. So it's saying that you may not be comfortable with being yourself just as you are. Hangman in the upright is really comfortable with just who he is, with all his eccentricities. He marches to the beat of his own drum. He doesn't give 2 cents about what anybody else thinks. He's really quite accepting of himself just as he is. In the reverse position, it's really caring about what other people think. Like, am I keeping up with the Joneses? Is my image intact? Is my reputation solid? It's really caring about what everyone else thinks except for your own self. So I'm going to encourage you, Virgo, especially at the beginning of November here, to really think about what it is that you think and your own perspective, regardless of what anyone else thinks. What do you really feel? What do you really think? And by connecting with that, that's how you become grounded and stable. And this is you, at your peak, at the epitome of of being who you are. You are by nature, Virgo, very grounded, very stable, very reliable, very down to earth, very big-hearted, wholesome, generous, wanting to be of service. This is who you are. You know, this is you in your own authority, Virgo, whether male or female. And I kind of get the sense that some of you may be worried about cutting off this old story because what would everyone think? I'm going to encourage you to question that, Virgo. But this is a big story for you. You know, Empress, Death, Hangman, these are major cards. These are all major arcana. So there's something that you're going to have to let go of. And I'm going to use that phrase, let go or be dragged. It's really, I'm just getting for a lot of you, letting go of the past. This old rose that bloomed. And you're kind of holding on to it. It's affecting you still. And I get the sense that some of you are asking, well, what would everyone think if I let go of that? You know? And who do I really want to be? Who do I get to be? What are my thoughts? What are my feelings? You might just need to take a time out to think about what that is. And I'm going to encourage you to put your own thoughts first rather than what anyone else thinks. How do you feel? That's going to connect you more to yourself. And, you know, if there's any feelings of being checked out or feeling depressed or feeling lonely or isolated or that you're not fitting in or any of that, Hangman in reverse, questioning yourself, connecting with yourself is going to lead you back to that, Virgo. It's going to make you feel, instead of worrying about what everybody else thinks, who cares? Getting close and solid with yourself, your internal self. And again, that's that Jupiter in Scorpio. It's really shining a spotlight in what are your deep-seated feelings. Sometimes just taking a pause to like press pause and consider that is going to lead you back to you. And this is all at the beginning of November. I'm also getting that this is what's going on with that full moon in Taurus, because it's illuminating your ninth house of higher learning. It's greater understanding, greater wisdom, and I'm really seeing this as wisdom of the self, Virgo. It's really like saying, okay, so this is really what I think. This is really what I feel. This is really what I believe. This is really who I am. And that's when you show up as Queen of Coins here. So really deep work potentially here at the beginning of November, Virgo. But you end up in a good place right around that full moon. Towards the middle of the month, I see a couple different things going on. I see it in the middle of the month. Here's another interruption. Sorry about that, Virgo. So here we have in the middle of the month, I see you kind of working away at something, putting in the work. This always creates good results, Eight of Coins. And this is Six of Cups, which is real sweetness. This can be regarding someone from your past. This has to do with childhood and innocence, feeling like your heart is open, like it was when it was a child, and sharing heart energy with someone else who makes you feel childlike or who you knew from a long time ago. These lilies represent innocence and purity, and it's just sort of like the kindness and the sweetness between children. And Eight of Coins means willing to put the work in, almost like whistling while you work, like being happy about putting in the effort. So there's some really nice energy about what you're creating in the middle of the month, Virgo. It's surrounded, though, by these sort of defensive characters, and that's kind of interesting. And you've got Page of Swords watching and defending on this side, and you've got Seven of Wands watching and defending on this side. It's almost as though this is protected space for you, that you're wanting to work on something that really has to do with sweetness. And Six of Cups can have to do with reunion, sentimentality, childhood, going back to the past, connection with someone who makes you feel like a child or innocent. And I get the sense that you're willing to defend this with words and with action. Both of these, as you can see, they are defending the perimeters. So you can be very blunt with Page of Swords here about defending something. potentially also sending away an air sign. And then this is Seven of Wands, which is, it's really protective energy. It corresponds with Mars in Leo, which is like, you know, I'm going to defend this space. I'm standing up for what I believe in. I'm being assertive. So a real willingness mid-month, Virgo, to defend your space, to work on something that feels sweet and innocent, and maybe allows you to connect with someone from your past. Definitely someone that you feel like you can be childlike with. And I do see, for whatever, at the end of, towards the end of the month, potentially around this new moon in Scorpio, that if you're feeling out of sorts in any way, feeling isolated or lonely, this is Hermit in reverse. This is your card, Virgo. So if you're feeling, when the card is in reverse, it's showing some of the less desirable sides of the card. So this can feel like isolation. It can feel like loneliness. Like, where's my way forward? Where's my lamp? Where's the truth? I'm really seeing a lot of healing energy here, right next to it, with this Five of Coins. And I'm seeing care and consolation and consideration, potentially with this person that you've created some intimacy with, or you've created, you know, maybe you've gone back to an old friendship and they have some kind words that are consoling for you. It's potential that you're consoling someone else, but I'm really actually seeing that this is you, and you're getting tended and cared for by someone else, and likely this person who you feel like you can be very open and vulnerable with. So I kind of get that there's some sort of healing energy going on here in November, and it's in this protected space that you've created, that you've put in this work and effort, you know, diligently. Eight of Coins shows work over time, consistent effort. That's why he builds up a storehouse of value, because he has put in the time and the effort. And I actually see that you're getting some tender, loving care. If you're feeling a little out in the cold, a little isolated, a little like the lonely monk, Virgo, this is a wonderful time to receive this nurturing and this warmth. And then I see also, as you defend your boundaries, you know, it invites lover's energy in. You may have to really have some sharp or clear or blunt words with someone this month. Page of Swords and Queen of Swords are both showing up. Now, Queen of Swords does not mince words. She's like, that's over there, this is over here. That's yours, this is mine. This is where the perimeter is. This is what the rules are. This is what the boundaries are. She can be really direct. But she's also very clear, and she's very honest. And she's very, she's able to make clear distinctions on things because her alignment is with the truth. This sword here, it's the Excalibur sword, and it means being in alignment with the truth. And when you are in alignment with the truth, it sets you free. It makes things very clear. Even if it can be a bit sharp, you know, she knows where she stands, and everyone knows exactly where she stands because she's so clear and direct. And I get the sense, Virgo, that towards the end of the month, that takes you from feeling like this, from feeling in any way wounded or left out in the cold, to really being open and vulnerable and being able to be intimate. It welcomes this in. There's this really nice transformational energy from showing up, open-hearted, willing. You know, Six of Cups is very sweet, kind, intimate. You're the sign of the Virgin, Virgo. So you have this innate sort of wholesomeness or purity to you that is really possible. And Six of Cups is a representation of that. You may have to be open to receiving some sort of nurturing or care towards the end of the month with this connection that you've been developing, or have a possibility of developing. And it really opens you up to lover's energy. You may have some fear, doubt, or resistance to being this open and being vulnerable because of old stories, you know, old things from the past that maybe didn't go the way that you had hoped or thought. So that's why it's in reverse, but it's really showing up for you here, Virgo. This is lover's energy. This means feeling completely open, completely showing up as yourself and receiving love. And by the way, giving love too. It's two people connecting hearts. If this is the young beginnings of something, this is when they mature and they're able to show up in, this is mature love. So nurture whatever connection shows up mid-month for you. Again, it may feel like stops and starts. It may feel like it's space that you have to defend, but it's going to serve you towards the end of the month in terms of nurturing, getting healed by it, and then it really blooms and develops by the end of the month, Virgo. So that's some beautiful energy there. You may have to defend your space, be really clear with your words, and that's okay because you've got Jupiter in your third house of communication, deep-seated feelings. Like, this could be, I really want to do this, or I really don't want to do this. This is what I think is what Queen of Swords says. So she's really clear with her communication and really honest. Honesty is really going to serve you too towards the end of the month in connecting with this lover's energy.